He'll set up his alt activation.
That's my eject word. I'm out. I'm gone. Hi everyone, this is Freestyling Kirby. Welcome to the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I am joined by my breaststrokers, Matt.
Howdy.
And Cameron.
Hey.
Here at Real Gamerscore, we like to discuss all things Xbox, achievements, and remembering to start recording 20 minutes too late. This week we talk about diving into Xbox exclusives, shutting up shop, and Matt's booty. But first, here's the song of the week. All this Gamerscore I keep playing for games from right like how they become a bore. Searching for something else in the weekly sales. Repeated discounts, they do not cure what ails. New indie darlings come week in and week out, but they're all the same old gameplay. Maybe AAA will give me what I need, but mindless war shooters fill up my screen. Too many games on my hard drive, but nothing to play, Oh, too many games on my hard drive, but nothing to play. So yeah, I figured I'd go for a slightly... It's both popular and possibly less well exposed than some of the other songs that we've done, but that's fine. It'll either work or it won't.
It was a Mumford & Sons, right? So I think we'll be okay. Someone will get it.
What are you talking about? We've never done Mumford & Sons. That episode is lost to the time. I mean, that never happened, ever.
Right.
So
it's one of those things that got edited out.
It's weird that you'd bring up something that never happened, is all. That's, knew Cameron wouldn't get it, but figured Matt probably had an inkling, so when we have the back... And I don't know whether to do the backing track, because I think having the backing track will give it away too easily, but we'll see. Anyway, if you would like to enter into the Song of the Week competition, you need to send your answer to what that song was to the Real Gamerscore account on trueachievements.com. That's Real Gamerscore with a 5 instead of the S, or one word, no spaces. Yeah, send your answer in there. I'm not going to make the joke again of what was last week's song and then completely forget that we didn't do that because it's a monthly competition now. So
make sure if you didn't get last week's competition and you still have some time, get your answers in. Yeah,
plenty of time. But we do have a winner from December. So we only did a couple of songs in December because just timing is awful with our recordings on being on Tuesday nights and Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve and all that other nonsense. Blame the calendar gods and just everyone. Just blame them. It's not our fault. In fact, Cameron at realgamerscore.com. Send your emails there. All your complaints.
They probably already do, but just in case.
Yeah, that email is definitely monitored.
He is the one who schedules us, so if the show doesn't go out, it's his fault, Cameron.
Yeah. Hey, I thought we were swapping to Thursday nights. Isn't that what you said?
Especially if the outtakes don't come out, that's also Cameron's fault.
Yeah, he's the one that edits them, so just pick up the slack, buddy. I mean, come on.
Sorry. I'll definitely get on that.
It's weird that they were lost in the fires. July to December were lost in those fires. That's the hard drive. You had to leave it at home as you escaped from the fires, right, Cameron?
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, we didn't back them up to the cloud, unlike we do with literally everything else. But just those 6. Also months.
Yeah. We shouldn't joke about that. People actually think there's fires near me. I mean, the whole country's on bloody fire, so...
I just assumed there was because of all the fires.
I mean,
20 minutes
relatively.
It was pretty funny actually over here. we because we in New Zealand here we've seen the smoke coming over, so it changed the color of the sky for a bit. So down south they were like, oh yeah, it must be the fires in Australia, and then at the capital in Wellington they were like, oh, it must be the fires.
They reckon that the smoke will rotate the Earth at least once.
Wait,
wow.
Oh,
that's how bad
it is. No. I misinterpreted what you said and was like, how is the smoke going to grab the Earth and twist it around? No.
No,
you mean travel around the Earth?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw an article earlier today.
No, that's fine. When you said rotate the Earth, I thought you meant we'll take the
Earth.
I
think you meant circumnavigate.
Phrasing.
Yeah. I was like, how? I was real confused. I'm like, how is the smoke gonna... What? And then I'm like, is there some... There's something I'm missing in this. I didn't think you were like saying the wrong thing. I just thought I was missing some bit of science that we've discovered that smoke can now rotate the Earth.
I mean, it'll flip it over, right? Because it's flat.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah. It'll go underneath and come through the Earth.
Yes, exactly. It'll lift it up.
Yeah.
So we had So yeah, down on the South Island, they pretty much figured out what was going on. In Wellington, which is the bottom of the North Island, they figured out what was going on. And then in Auckland, everyone was like, "Oh my god, the sky has turned orange. What is going on? I have to call the police." So they had to put out an article saying, "Please do not call the police. It's the fires from Australia. Please calm down."
You know what's the funniest thing about that story? Is Cameron was laughing, which means he didn't listen to last week's episode when you said it already.
Yes, I know. Actually, wait, did you keep that in?
Probably.
Ugh, damn it. It might cut that
Was
out
it meant... Was it? No.
I forgot if we talked about it before the show or during the show.
Yeah. Actually, it might have been during the show. I mean, before. Whatever. Look,
just
I'm not going to listen back myself and hear whether it happened or not, so
just cut all that out.
Hear it again.
Don't worry
Stories
about
happen twice. It's fine. Usually they happen after a long period of time because we've forgotten we've told them. Not usually week to week, but... so, yes, December's Song of the Week winner is...
Yeah.
And he did it before the song this time, before the announcement this time. Philip Wendell. Yay! So, send me a message on trueachievements.com or send me a message through Discord and I'll get your money prize sent to you gift card. I'm not sending you money. I'm not going to wire you funds. It's okay. But speaking of the Discord, if you'd like to join us and use all our awesome emotes, all 5 of them, and the GIF emote of the dabbing Pikachu that you're all blessed as Nitro users, which I feel like everyone in our server can use it because because the server is boosted, but you can't take it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think everyone in the server can use it, but you can't use it outside of it, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, enjoy the dabbing Pikachu. I'm going to get some Rocket League stuff. You can get the awesome normal-sized Kirby. You can use the Wizard of New Zealand. And we'll add more emotes when I get the bother.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, could be wrong.
So never is the short answer. Moving on from that, we have our Patreon. Brain shut off for like 5 seconds. We have our Patreon winner. I said Patreon, I'm like, Patreon what? What? We have a Patreon winner for either December or January because I don't know what the prizes count for, whether it's the month upcoming or the month that's happened.
Look, he won something. He'll figure it out.
He won something, and we're giving it to him this week. Simple. The winner is Mark B. Yay! So, same thing. True Achievements or Discord, send me a message through there, and we'll get your ID at Xbox game sorted. If you would like to be a Patreon of the show, you can go to patreon.com/realgamerscore and give us your money there. You can give it to us directly, but there, if you do it through there, there's a paper trail to show that we're not just stealing it. Like, there's evidence that you've actually given it to me and I don't just spend it on alcohol or something. I mean, I
was going to say, you probably will spend the money on alcohol. Let's not beat around the bush. I mean, also there's some server costs and stuff, but...
You might be in the running to get a prize if you do it through Patreon. If you just give it to me, you're just getting me drunk.
Yeah, fair.
So, yeah. Congratulations again, Mark B. The other contests we have one that happens every month, the random to-do list giveaway. So last month was for the game Rift Keeper, and the question was another game with the word keeper in the title, and the winner of that prize is AZ Mongoose. Actually, there's no space there. That's As Mongoose.
As Mongoose, right.
As Mongoose, yep. So As Mongoose, same deal. Send me a message, Discord, True Achievements. I'll get your code sorted for you. To enter our random to-do list giveaway, you need to unlock one achievement in your random to-do list, which is a list of 25 random achievements from your pool on True Achievements, and answer the trivia question, which for this month is for the game Hovership Havoc. Now, I didn't look up whether Hovership or Havoc is a better word to use, so I've officially given up now that we've recorded the show, and you can just do either. Send another game with Hovership or send another game with Havoc. I'm like an open book. I just don't care.
Is that the saying? Open books don't care? That's
yeah.
I was going to say, is there any other ones?
Any other open books? Ones that do care, obviously.
I mean, games.
I don't think there are any other games that have either the word Hovership or Havoc in them.
Really?
Not a single one.
There's not one. I was going to say...
Well, looks like none of you are winning this month.
Rigged.
How about another game with the name Ship
or Hover? I'll take Ship or Hover.
How about a DLC with Havoc in it?
No, I'm not taking no DLC answers. I mean, half the people don't even have DLC included in their completion percentages. How are they going to know about them?
Only if I play it. Yeah, okay. Turns out we decided to go with either Hover or Ship. Pick a different game with Hover or Ship in the title. As it turns out, pretty unique game. I think there's actually a game that is called Hover. Can't remember for sure. That's an easy one if it is, but
that's not allowed.
No, look, at this point I don't care. At this point, It's so far downhill. Every single person. You could just send a message and I'll be like, yep, that's definitely the correct answer.
New year, new chin.
Yep. So send that answer to the random to-do list account on True Achievements. That is all one word, random to-do list. If you would like to be added to the RTDL to get a list, you can message me or send a message or friend request to that random to-do list account. And I check that fairly frequently, and obviously I am me, so I check my stuff fairly frequently. Almost too frequently, some might say. But yeah, so congratulations to all our winners. And I forgot the second competition, which is the Freedom's Completion Challenge. Make sure you are working on that, because there is prizes and goodies. There are 4 different sections of his completion challenge, and there'll be a winner for the first to complete each one individually, and a major winner for the first to complete all 4 sections. So yeah, good luck to everyone involved. Take all year if you need to, that's fine. You just might not be first, but it's all good. Chances are there's not going to be too many who complete the entire list, so because it is a pretty tough one. I think the alphabet one's probably one of the trickier ones. Not too many X games left. X-Men Wolverine, X-Men Destiny, that's like the easiest ones I can think of.
XComs, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, stuff the XComs. Yep. Alright, moving on to the news, and then I just added everything because I'm insane. As you already noticed, because Alex is not here, which means I'm running it.
I mean, running is it's a loose term, but
Yeah, I'm pushing it up a hill.
It is going in a direction.
I'm pushing the show upwards on a hill. That's covered in snow and ice. That's basically it. The first story. DC Universe Online is having another anniversary. They've done this, I don't know if it's 3 years in a row or just 3 times, but they're giving you a free character advance to CR255, which is like their gear score level. They also boost your character to level 30, so that will get you 1 or 2 achievements, or possibly 3, depending on how many you've done so far. You could get a movement skill, there are 3 movement skills, so you could finish up all your movements with this one. And one of the other mentors. There are 6 mentors total, and you need to get a character to level 30 with each mentor. So you should, if you're up to date, you'll have 3 done. Once you've done this one, you should have all the movements done, and you just have a race if you've never played the game at all. But the races are super easy with the flight movement system, and 3 more mentors to do. So fingers crossed, in about 3 years' time, we'll be talking about how we're all got this game completed, because we all just used the character advancements. Have either of you
I haven't
touched
done
this at all?
After Neverwinter, I've sworn off MMOs.
Yeah.
I think I touched this last year and did like a little bit, like an hour tops, but that was it.
Yeah, I think I've got a level 15 character that I didn't advance that one, because why would I spend that on one I've already put time into? That would be ridiculous. But no, I've done 3 advancements, so I have 3 characters left to go. Probably after my push to million, I guess I'll finish this off. It's not crazy long. It's just because you have to do 6 characters total. It's a grind, but I guess only doing 2.5 isn't going to be too bad, I don't think. I don't know. I kind of almost want to wait, because if they're just going to keep doing this every year and giving it to me free, why would I put the time into?
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen, right? They'll get to 5, and then you'll have 1 more, and then they're like, "Oh, guess what? We're shutting down the servers next week."
Yeah, yeah. As always the case, isn't it?
Yep.
Looking at you, Marvel Heroes Omega.
Yeah, I keep waiting for that announcement for Neverwinter, but it hasn't happened yet.
Waiting or hoping?
Bit of both.
Just every night you go to bed, pray. And God, please shut down the Neverwinter servers permanently. Thank you very much.
Make the rest of the achievements relatively easy, and just tell me that there's no more DLC coming out for it, so I can finally finish it.
Yeah,
one day.
Joy. And now something only relevant to a very small percentage of our listeners, although it's also happening in the UK, and in general has kind of happened in the US.
I was going to say, in the US, they cut like half their staff. Yeah.
Killing a lot. Luckily, Matt does have nothing to worry about, because stores don't exist in his country.
No, it's true. I have to go hunt the video games on the wild plains.
Yes. GameStop is closing. How many stores was it, Cameron?
I feel like it was
200. 20.
I want to say
They're
around 20
stores.
I want to say
EB,
17, but I'm not sure if that's exact.
I think that the total amount, because the thing is, the company who owns GameStop own EB Games, and they own Game in UK as well, I believe.
Yep, who are shutting down 40 stores. Yep.
Yeah, so
okay.
So yeah, I think they're all owned by the same overhead, as far as I'm aware, or at least partly owned. So it looks like 300 stores across the world they're basically shutting down at the moment, and this is coming off the back of GameStop cutting stores. I mean, I've seen articles about them cutting, managers and shutting down stores for the last 3 or 4 years. Basically, every sort of 6 months, there's a new announcement about them laying off people and shutting down stores.
Yeah, so they had originally planned to do 180 to 200 stores by the end of last year, and that expanded to 250 to 300 within the next 24 months, because its net losses went from 5 to 10% to a number in the high teens, so probably 17 plus, I'd say. And with that kind of losses, especially now that they're very much not a game store and more a merchandise store and stuff store, aren't they?
It'd be interesting to see how Zynga's doing compared to them.
Yeah, that's kind of the big thing here as well. Is that so? Zing is their merchandise sort of store that they combined with. So they did that with the main store
Pop
here.
Zing or whatever.
Pop vinyls and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the couple of stores in Australia have it built in on the bottom floor and that sort of stuff, or in a separate area, and they did the same with one of the stores here in Auckland as well.
If not, like most marketplaces, will be side by side or very close together. But
are you using the headset mic?
It should be coming through here.
No, that's fine. Can you move it away, because it's throwing me off? Does it turn up? Why would you not have it done that? Cameron, you're killing me.
Hey, I wasn't the one who didn't start recording.
Yeah, now I know why I didn't know. I was too distracted. No, sorry,
I was gonna say,
off, as usual.
if you're ever bored, have a look at there's a YouTuber that goes by, I think, Camelot331, and he covers the US GameStop stuff quite frequently.
Yeah,
Like just emails, messages from staff, and all that. It's really interesting.
yeah. Don't think I've ever been that bored, but
I'm always bored.
I mean, look, I don't necessarily do much when I'm at work and it's quiet, so
Yeah.
I'm saving some of my Play Anywhere titles for when I'm at work.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can't say anything because my employees potentially listen to this show, so I'm a very hard worker.
I definitely know my employees don't.
Yeah, I made the mistake of mentioning that I was on a podcast at a board meeting once, and that was...
God.
Rookie.
Yeah, well, they were asking about podcast advertising, and so I mentioned... So my boss turned to me and says, "Oh, hey, you're on a podcast," in front of the board of directors. Oh, boy. I said, well, yes, technically. I suppose I can look into that for you guys.
Technically it is. Oh, man. That's
if you're listening, hey, I could really use a raise, thanks.
Or a sponsorship. The show could use...
Yes, this show could definitely use a sponsorship.
Especially one about cars.
Yes, because we talk about cars all the time. Next week, Forza.
Well, Cameron's on, so do you have a racing game this week?
I could talk about Forza, but I think that was outside last podcast. I could talk about the Eliminator, but...
No, I'd go for it, because we absolutely butchered that, so you feel free to talk about that. We butchered that because we have no idea, because I don't think I've started 4.
I'm not going to start 4.
4's good.
Yeah,
I mean...
No, not right now, though. Save it for your time.
I'll save it for my time.
This is not you time. This is game time.
GameStop
time. Store, not... Yeah. So they're shuttering a lot of stores. Luckily, none of the 4 stores within... Oh, it's only 3 stores now, because it was 4 while one of them moved. They just had both of them open. Now that that's finally finished moving, it's 3 stores. None of the 3 stores within 10 minutes drive of each other. Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think. It might still be 4. No, it's definitely 3. Yeah, none of the 3 stores in the Northern Territory are shutting down. We do have one in Cranberry.
Yep.
Yeah, my local one 2 minutes away
1,
closed.
2, 3,
But this
6 in New South Wales. 5 in Queensland. 4 in South Australia. 2 in Victoria and 2 in Western Australia. I don't think those 2 in Western Australia are real places. I think they've just made up names.
I'm surprised Dandenong's closing down.
Also not a real place.
Yeah. It's a real place, but it's not a real nice place.
The only reason I know about it is because I think Tim Minchin does a song about it.
Okay. Some of these are really stupid names. What's that last place in Queensland? Lutwyche?
Lowitchy?
Definitely not where I was going to go with that name.
What other news stories do we have? Because I think we've beaten this one to death more than they've beaten their business model.
Yeah, so they're not selling. Digital all the way.
I mean, yeah, when was the last time you went to a GameStop or an EB Games or whatever? Like and actually went and
with
bought
the intention
something?
to buy something?
Yeah.
When I got my Switch in October, but again, I had to get the hardware from somewhere.
Right, exactly. It was exactly the same with Alison's Switch that I got and a couple of her presents. I was like, well, if I want to find some video game merchandise, it's a quick, easy place to go and find it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's like, when was the last time I actually bought a game there that I held on to?
Especially because I abuse the marketplace and its pricing models with region swapping. So I go in and go, none of these are within $30 of a price I could do, not on sale.
Yep. Done.
Especially with a new Xbox One game's going to be $110.
Yeah, over here it'd be about $120. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not even that expensive digitally.
No.
It's just or at any other store in any other franchise in the country. I can go to Target and get it for $70. You know, just ridiculous.
JB Big W 60. most of the time.
Yeah, like it's nonsensical. Anyway, moving on. Philly boy, was it Phil? No, Matt Booty. Love that guy.
Sorry. Who is that?
Matt Booty. That guy. I love that guy.
You like booty?
You're all about that booty, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but no, he's great. He's the head of Xbox Game Studios. Also, he has an awesome name. He was in an interview. Yes, in an interview with MCV UK, who are a news outlet of some kind. Yeah, they're just called MCV. About. Let's look at About. Cool, you're just calling yourself MCV. Okay, got it. In an interview with MCV, Booty said that we should expect games to release both on the Xbox One and the Series X for at least a year, as in nothing will be Series X only compatible. But as stuff comes out over the next year or two, we should sort of start to see that there's less stuff that's playable on the original Xbox One, and then slowly the S, and then slowly the One X, and as we move out. I was talking to friend of the show, and by friend of the show I mean person that I know, Shadow K, who, my god, now I can't find the conversation. Am I gonna? It was a tweet from Digital Foundry basically condemning this decision because he was saying now that games are just essentially going to be held back by the earlier consoles. And Shadow, and I'm gonna, my times might be off rightfully, but the gist of what I'm saying is going to be most accurate. Is that essentially all of the stuff for the new console won't be finalized until probably 3 to 4 months before the release. So teams working on games that will launch alongside or within a short while after the launch of the X won't be using any of the new fun hardware stuff that the Series X can do. It's going to be, you'll have a team working, say we'll just go with FIFA. We have a team working on FIFA, and then once the stuff is finalized for the Series X, that'll split off into a separate team who will be working on the exact, because now development is seamless across consoles, it'll just be a team designed to allow the Series X to fully boost the previous gen game in all sense, to better capabilities, to better take advantage of the APU and everything else extra that has, rather than a game designed for the Series X and then pulled back for the earlier consoles.
Which is something that we see every time there's a new console, right? Is that there's always a relatively lackluster launch lineup. You might have one real good game, and then it's usually like a year or two before you start getting the real bangers. Because you're right, and to be fair, Microsoft are probably not the ones that do it because they don't usually have a lot of good first-party stuff. The ones who make up the library are going to be the third-party developers who won't, even if they had finalized the Xbox stuff at the beginning of this year.
Half the teams have already worked on so much that
exactly
trying to then push it into an X set of specs is not necessarily the easiest thing.
Exactly, and take advantage of the hardware the same they would on a PC.
The only stuff that we're going to see really fully utilizing the Series X in the first year even is going to be first-party stuff, and that's, again, it's because they've probably been working with relatively close stuff for well beyond any of the third-party devs. But people are getting sort of, I guess this kind of shows that really the push to upgrade isn't necessarily the focus of Microsoft. The push to get everyone onto the new console isn't entirely what their market play is it?
Yeah. To me, it's just like, as long as they can get anybody into the ecosystem, regardless of where you, like, what stage you jump on, whether it is getting an X day one, or getting a Series X day one, or getting just one of the old consoles. As long as you're part of the ecosystem, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I agree. I mean,
playing it on PC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even that.
That's the thing, right? And if you, and I think really what they want you to do is sign up to Game Pass Ultimate, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they'd love for you to be on the console, but if you sign up for Game Pass Ultimate and you have a PC, I mean, even who was it that they asked about if they were going to buy a PS4 or a Switch first or something? I think they asked some executive at Microsoft, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to
Quick." Who's Quick? Xbox Quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's that? I can't remember his name. I know his Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Is
So
it
PS4
Series X? Mikey Barra?
It might have been Yakibar.
So.
Yeah, he just said, Xbox. Yeah. He'll get the PlayStation 5 because he wants to play the exclusives, which is like the right answer because I mean, and he's just like, play everything else on PC.
Yeah, and those in the Xbox ecosystem are kind of like, oh, that's crap. Why would you do that? And it's like, because Microsoft genuinely probably don't care that much whether you're on a console or not.
No, I mean, a console is just an easy way to get it in front of you, but if you're on a PC, they just want you using the Microsoft Store.
Yeah.
And if you have Game Pass, it works for everything, so why not? And then xCloud is the next layer on top of that around being like, well, what Microsoft's doing is giving people options where they used to not.
Yeah. Yeah, there's they're broadening access, essentially.
Yeah, which is smart because that's kind of their only card to play at the moment, but while they're waiting for these studios to come up with some games.
I was going to say, how many new users, I guess, would see that like PlayStation versus Microsoft kind of debate and go, well, jump either side?
The new users are going to go with whatever game is advertising for that platform. So if PlayStation's advertising COD, man, I really want COD. I've seen it with PlayStation. I definitely know it works with PlayStation. I'm just going to go with PlayStation because I know it definitely is on PlayStation because it's been advertised there.
I think another big I agree. I think another big part of it is what your friends have is always a big factor, right? If your friends are playing on PlayStation, then you buy a PlayStation. And it used to be that everyone had a 360, so everyone bought a 360 because Xbox Live was the best service. And then everyone jumped ship to PS4 because they had the exclusives. And now it's coming back around where it's like, well, if you're using your Microsoft account on your PC and your Xbox, and you're starting to get crossplay, it actually starts to matter even less and less for Microsoft going forward, being like, well, actually, we don't really care where you play it. I mean,
as long as you're playing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if they can get xCloud on the Switch, that would be the ideal for them.
Yes.
If they can get that on the Switch and working well, then they've essentially cornered 2 out of 3 of the biggest players. Not cornered, but they have a foothold in everything.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I genuinely don't think they care whether they sell more consoles than Sony do.
Well, they don't release their console numbers anymore, right? They only talk about number of subscribers on Xbox Live.
Yeah,
it's just a gateway, just another gateway to get you into the ecosystem.
And it seems to be working. I mean, people talk nothing but good things about Game Pass, to be honest. Even people who aren't primarily Xbox gamers, they think, well, this is good value for money. I get everything I need. I can play it on, I'll play it on my Xbox One, my Xbox One X, my PC, and then my Series X when it comes in, and just mix and match.
Yeah. I was talking to people in the Achievement Land Discord. It came up that Sony weren't doing a E3 show this year, and I essentially said, he was saying, people are really shocked that they're not doing E3 this year. I'm like, why would they? Like, E3, they pulled out of E3 last year. Yes, they've got a new console coming, but PlayStation do 6 or 7 big shows, which for most of their market doesn't watch E3.
Yeah.
Most of their market sees the Tokyo Game Show.
True.
Like that, they have a chunk of European users. I think US is majority Xbox.
Yeah.
Europe and Asia is typically Sony. They do Gamescom every year. Like E3 is not, and especially with how E3 is kind of starting to spiral over the last couple of years and just not going anywhere.
I think being spiral is probably too kind to it. It's basically went off a cliff in the last 5 or so years. It's just really been going downhill.
Yeah, we'll be diplomatic about it. Spiral.
Just in case we get invited.
Crap. Yeah, we get invited to do a panel. Do they do panels at E3? Is that a thing?
Look, I'll do the Microsoft press conference. Let's do it. Come on, get me up there.
I'll be a keynote speaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen this box? It's all black and green, yo. It's pretty powerful. I mean, I'm not going to get one day one, but
yeah, no, it's I don't think it's good value for money. But if you want to get that, sure, why not?
I mean, when I think of my E3 top up, just 2019 we had Keanu Reeves. 2020 we got Matt.
Yep,
nailed it. Yeah, Cyberpunk and Keanu Reeves.
That one with CD Projekt Red's new thing.
But it was pure. I think Cyberpunk would have gone with Sony had Sony been there.
Probably
more eyes.
Yeah.
So, but just that was good luck, and then that relationship has continued because as we saw at PAX, that Cyberpunk was mostly Xbox related stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
But and someone was saying but lots of people look forward to E3, and it's some people it's a really big event. I'm like, it's a big event, and he said, and I really look forward to the Xbox stuff. And I said, you look forward to the Xbox stuff because that's all Xbox does. They do E3
for the most part.
They do a bit at Gamescom. They've recently done XOs the last 2 years, but when else do they do big news drops?
Yeah, although it is unusual because hardware is usually it is a trade show at the end of the day, in one of, if not the biggest market in the world for consumer electronics, at least at that scale.
Mm-hmm.
So not showing off your hardware at E3 as such is unusual, considering the last 30 E3s almost, or whatever, back in the 90s. Have been that the last 20 or so. Have always, anytime they've always shown off something. It'll be interesting to see what E3 looks like this year. I mean, people weren't going last year, partly because Sony, partly because it's expensive, and their plans for next year. Oh boy, if you some of those leaked slides about was it brand entertainment, whatever it was, for people standing line entertainment for people who's going to stand in line for 4 hours,
advertising and stuff,
and. I mean, I work in marketing, but the word activation really does not sit well with me, I gotta say.
Oh, that's my safe word.
Oh, okay, right.
Activation.
It seems like this should be the opposite of a safe word, but sure.
Well, trust me, it does not come up in conversation that often. It's not... Don't just naturally drop an activation, so it's very clearly a word that's being used in a context where I need to stop.
Yeah, fair enough.
I feel like you're just working some sleeper agent somewhere.
Winter Soldier's coming.
Eagle Monkey activation. Here we go. But yeah, I
just as a personal question, do you guys actually care that there won't be any exclusives? Like, we've talked around it, but your personal opinions, does it actually affect you?
Depends if they're working on older consoles and upscaling, or if they're working on newer consoles and downscaling.
It'll be the first one.
It'll always be the first one for that first year or two, and it's just how it is. It'll be a lot more seamless this time because the development from one to the other is basically the same.
The architecture is almost identical, yeah.
We saw last gen to this gen, at 360 to 1 and PS3 to PS4 were completely different and were painful too.
Well, that's what I've been trying to reflect on. What's the difference? Basically, upgrading to the Series X from an Xbox One X is going to be much different from upgrading from a 360 to a 1. If that makes sense.
You said it is much different or not much different?
It's much different just because of the... How do I explain this?
Because it's not... Because they in themselves aren't that different.
It's basically just upgraded hardware as compared to
Yeah, it's
You're
basically a
buying
new
a better PC.
it's a new version basically.
Yeah.
Like and your backwards stuff's going to be backwards compatible from the get go, so you're not losing out. Like it's a much easier proposition for me to go and say, well, I might as well just trade in my Xbox One X and get the new one because it plays all my old stuff anyway. When before that it was like, well, I still have my 360 and I still have my Xbox One out because I might need to play one or the other.
that's exactly it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, the Series X is going to take the spot where my One X is at the moment. It's going to sit next to my 360 because there's still stuff I just need every so often. I need a 360 because I can't play it on the One.
Yep.
I mean,
or the Series X.
Hopefully there'll still be some EB stores up and running by the end of the next year, so we can actually trade it in. Otherwise, it's just Facebook.
3. Damn it, 3.
How many consoles do you have?
No, 3 stores, not 3 consoles. I
I've got.
have the Japanese console.
Sorry.
I can always trade that in.
Yeah, I've got. I've got a.
Oh wait, when does that end? February 2020. You can't trade in.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah, they're starting to. Oh yeah, I was the one who posted it. Yeah.
Yeah, was it Feb? I think it was February.
I think end of Feb. Yeah, somewhere.
That's alright.
I haven't seen it for any stores over here yet, but I'm expecting to start seeing it. It is interesting though because the 360 stuff came back into vogue because the backwards compatibility announcement, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly, like everyone was like, "Oh,
bumped up."
yeah," they went huge because they're like, "Oh, wait, these games are still playable on the old console, so we can sell them for a higher price." You know, Red Dead Redemption and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you want to get copies of any Kinect game ever.
Oh yeah, that's the God. Yeah, no, I'm good. I still have to finish Kinect Adventures. That's on my bucket list. In that, it will kill me.
Go to any EB now, and you can probably find 10 copies of that game.
So, when they said exclusives, they weren't talking about like games that won't be on Sony, as in not saying only third-party stuff will release on the Xbox in the first year. So because people did assume that initially, some people did, not everyone. People did assume that it was just going to be third-party stuff for a year and that nothing first-party was launching. Which I guess from the headline I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think what first-party stuff is going to launch in that first year that I actually care about.
Halo, basically.
Halo.
I don't care about Halo. I understand that people do.
That you should care about.
Yeah. Well, okay. Halo. Hopefully Hellblade in that first year.
Yeah, Hellblade. They said Hellblade 2 is going to be out. Yeah.
What else? First parties coming out.
Well, I mean,
maybe Everwild. Oh, the Honey I Shrunk My Kids game will be game preview. It'll be playable on the Series X. It won't have launched.
I get the feeling we'll probably hear more at E3. I mean, that's going to be they're going to be dancing, shouting, and have an idea of what the lineup's going to be, and have at least a plan for the next 12 months afterwards.
Yeah. So if they don't announce it at this E3, is Battletoads officially vaporware?
I hope so.
If they don't say anything about it,
if they don't say anything about it, it's done. I mean, it'll come straight into Game Pass, and no one will ever play it. It'll be like Crackdown 3.
Yeah, because 2018 was the first proper mention of it, right? And I think it said this year or in the next 12 months or something. Or no, it just said 2019. And then they just ignored it for 2019's E3. So I think that's going to be my vote for Vaporware.
Alright, yep. We'll see how it goes.
Alright. So yeah, as we said, a little bit of a light news week. And although you got a fair chunk of talk from that because we decided to talk about other things.
What else is new?
As usual. Yeah. Moving on to the G-Task. It is period 29 this time. The bonus is on the solo side. It is 50-50 vision. End the scoring period having unlocked at least one 50G achievement. It's baby game for baby gamers kind of bonus. If I'd be more shocked that people didn't manage this than that they did. But as for period 28, the cutoff on solo side was 2,832. Our low sailor was Kronos with 3,020, 188 above the line. And our high flyer was Secular Forever, who managed to get first spot with 9,471.
I don't understand how Secular Forever has so many games to play that score so highly.
Yeah, and the time.
Yeah, like all the things. I mean, like, look, some people look at us and say, man, how do they have times to have lives and actually stuff? Like, we don't have lives. Like, that's the honest truth.
This is my life.
Yeah, this is my life.
This podcast is the only break I take from gaming.
It's literally going to say that. So, but like some of these people are just on a whole different level.
Yeah. I spoke about this in a boosting session, talking about some of these people who came out of nowhere as well, just seemingly just.
Yeah.
Oh, looking at you, Estru.
Yeah, thanks, Estru.
Came out of nowhere, has $7 million apparently, and is like 21 or something, 23. Super young too, relatively speaking.
Jeez.
Apparently, I don't know for sure, but not that we were like discussing behind his back, but it came up in conversation, and like, I can't remember who we were talking about, but then moved on to that. And it's like, yeah, I was shocked he is supposedly that young. If he's not, you should come out and let us know that you're actually a 45-year-old man. It's not catfishing. We just don't know what you are. We promise. But yeah, Secular Forever, smashing it. Team cutoff was a huge jump because it was top 50 cutoff this week. So everyone left is top 50. So that jumped up to 8,802 true achievement difference. Our low flyers were The Good, the Bad, and the Fugly, Wakapale, NBA Kirkland, and What the Fug, with 9,346, 544 above. I think they used a bonus, but I can't remember. Our high-flying team was Is This Team Leapfrog, Daniel JJ 14, Jimbot UK, and Infamous, 11th spot with 10,885. We did have 2 teams get eliminated, both with 2 members each who are friends of the show. No Shame Eternal Slackers, with Yoda 12320. That's definitely not how you say those numbers in that order, but
Sure, yep.
Yep, Spazpol and Planting 42, both ex-reviewers of ours, and sad to see them go, but I guess Planting will have more time to play the show now.
Play Neverwinter with Yoda and I.
Yeah. No, he doesn't need to get score.
No, he does. Yeah, exactly.
And team name pending of High Road V2, Freemhole, and Koosh Moose also got eliminated. So, yeah, top 50. Congratulations, everyone who's still in it. You're all insane, and I don't know how you do it, because I think I got a massive amount of Gamerscore this week. I think I would have gotten like 12 true achievement difference. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from there. Alright, we haven't got a review yet. With reviews, we'll be coming back probably February, because we need time to actually review. Look, we could give real impromptu reviews if you wanted, but they wouldn't be very good. So, we'll just move on to what we've been playing this week. We decided to go from... We have gone smallest to biggest. So, I won't give you any context for that. Cameron. Mr.
I'll give
Smallest.
you context. Gamerscore size.
Oh, have we in that? Oh, we're in that order too.
Oh, we're in that order. Oh, jeez. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Cameron, what have you been playing this week?
Alright, so I haven't really been playing much, just on account of I've been flat out busy at work and pretty much taking care of my daughter on the weekend.
Excuses. What have you been playing? Come on.
Probably Peekaboo.
Yeah, I've been swimming. I've been swimming, which is I never go
Incorrectly,
swimming.
apparently. I've heard.
According to you.
According to common sense.
Alright, anyway.
No. This discussion's happening. Is the first podcast listeners? Is the first step to sort of teaching your kid to swim when they're young? In the shallow end, you just put them in the water. You let go. They sink to the bottom, and then they struggle, and that's showing that they've got the survival instinct and they want to swim. The problem with me was I didn't do that. I just sat there and waited, and all the bubbles stopped coming, and I just sat at the bottom of the shallow end of the pool. But that's what has always been sort of... And not like you're going to do that lots of times. You do it once, they struggle, you say, yeah, okay, that's the human instinct to try and swim and survive, and then you go from there.
So, Kirby, were you an only child, or...
No, I was the third one.
Oh, okay, now it suddenly makes sense.
They'd done that to 2 other children.
Yeah, they were like, you know what? We've 3 kids.
This has worked with the other 2.
Yeah, it's fine. We just, you know what? We've tested this out. It's fine. We'll just do it.
And that was early 90s.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get away with anything.
Don't even know if we had a pool fence, to be honest.
What? You didn't have a pool fence? Mate, the police will come after you.
We were
I was going to say, do you get fined now? I think you get fined for not having a fence now.
Depends on where you live and the size of the pool. We don't have a pool
and
fence.
If you have any boat people in the pool, then you can't have that.
I know some councils are charging you to have a pool as part of a separate fee. Yeah, no, that was the whole thing about it.
This is PC gone mad.
It's like, I want a pool. I don't want to pay for a pool. But
yeah, no, fair enough.
That's
just stupid.
Anyway, I can improved. What is it? The improved lot value.
No, it was purely like we're just gonna put a tax or whatever on having. You want a pool? We're just gonna give you a tax for it, like everything else. But
of course, why not?
Could give you a variety of reasons why that's a bad idea, but anyway, moving on. So I played a little bit. I mean, I spent, I want to say probably 4 or 5 hours finishing off 2 achievements in White Noise 2, which was basically just running around trying to get levels up. It's really lackluster, not really much to say about it other than it outstays its welcome. You probably play 2 hours and
people
before.
Do you need for that? That's a 6, 1 on 5?
I was going to say it's 1 on 4. But you really only need 2 players. You could boost it out if you want to.
Okay.
But you will get bored.
Yeah.
I got halfway through Old Man's Journey just because I wanted to just... I think I started at like 10 o'clock at night and I'm just like, I'll just go for a 0 to 1 hour completion. I'll get through this. Got up to the train section and I was just like, I'm falling asleep. I'm most likely going to fall asleep. So I fell asleep.
Before the train section?
Like, just at the train section, I fell asleep.
Okay, good. Because you don't want to miss that achievement.
What are you playing on?
What do you mean?
You're playing on your Xbox or your computer?
On my One X.
Okay, I would recommend doing your computer for that train section.
Okay.
Because it's much easier to do it with a mouse than it is the controller.
Yeah, that's an achievement
that's
tries on
yeah, I was going to say, I tried it once, but yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't know it was play anyway. Does it have would the chapter select carry over?
But yeah, well, it's play anyway, so your saves carry over, yeah. But there's also chapter select, and I think that's the start of a chapter. It's just so much easier to do on your computer. Right. I think I did it first try on mine. And I assume it wouldn't have been first try on the Xbox.
Alright, well, yeah. I was going to say, I'll give it a shot there then.
So, of the parts where you were conscious, how did you actually find the game?
I quite enjoyed it. I really liked the art style. Just got to say, that's the major thing I take away from that. Look, it was a game that I started fairly tired late in the day, so I probably didn't take on board any kind of message it was trying to convey across. I was just purely going for easy points, but yeah, I might come back. Well, I've got half the game to go, so hopefully I can just do it straight after work one day and smash it out. Moving on from that, played a bit of Marooners. I'm just chipping away at stuff, but I'm not sure if my stuff's actually tracking correctly. From checking the stats, it looks as if I should have got 1 or 2 achievements that haven't unlocked, and I don't know if I'm just misinterpreting the achievements. But
yeah, the game's not great for that sort of stuff. It's pretty terrible. Everything sort of pops early or late, and it's not.
I don't mind the game. It's just the achievements tied to it that's just the issue.
It's just a stupid grind at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much it. I think I'm halfway, based off the stats, halfway to, is it the crystals or
25,000 or whatever?
Yeah,
50,000, something like that.
It's going to be exactly like the grind and White Noise 2. I'm just not going to enjoy it, but hey, got to do those completions, yeah.
Yeah.
this one, Shalnor Legends Sacred Lands, is pretty much the game I would say I've spent the most on the last week / fortnight. Easiest way to describe it is bare bones, kind of like a Zelda Game Boy clone.
So it's sort of top-down Zelda.
Yeah, like that kind of like Game Boy Advance kind of
right. Okay.
style. I don't know how to explain why I'm so why I was so drawn to it, because as soon as I probably did this in 3 sittings, and how like time poor I am at the moment, like it's very rare for me to just spend more than I guess an hour on a game at a time. Yeah, I can't say it was the story or anything. There's no story to this game. It's purely like, hey, you're in this sacred land. You need to defeat these creatures or whatever and get to the end, and that's it. Like,
it's an excuse plot.
Yeah. It's like, get to the end, cool. But there will be a sequel.
Okay.
And hopefully that explains like another line of dialogue. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's another 3 lines of exposition.
Yeah. But like, look, it's purely like, I don't know why I liked it so much, whether it was like playing to that kind of nostalgia in a way, just purely off the art style and that. There is, how do I describe it? There is a section, I want to say like, you could divide it into 5 sections of the game, with the 5th one being like your final boss, and then 4 like dungeons throughout the games. As soon as you get to the 2nd dungeon, what I suggest is there will be an area with 4 lots of barrels. After you get fire arrows, just max out your coins. Just max out all your arrows then. I mean, and your armor. I wouldn't really worry about your sword. You can probably get through the whole game without using your sword very much.
How do you max them out?
How do you max them out? Each dungeon area is like, there's one area which is forest, there's one area which is desert, there's one area which is like a dead kind of mining caves. And then there's one that is rainforest. With your center of the map, as soon as you get all these 4 dungeons complete, opening up the center of the map and then going to the final boss. Each of those 4 earlier sections will have their own upgrade system, except for the 4th one, which is where you will acquire a fishing rod, which you can use for maxing out your coins. What I would do is, 2nd section, pretty much max out your coins to the point of just fast traveling. Like, it has a really good fast traveling system between each of the areas, but you don't really need to use it anyway. Like, I mean, you're probably saving a minute travel tops, but I mean, use it if it's there. Upgrade your arrows, because they will be your most beneficial upgrade, and probably, depending on whether you're playing a normal heroic, upgrade your armor.
You have to do heroic for some of the achievements, right?
I mean, heroic will get you your 200G for completing all achievements, and I believe 2 others, one being a defeat any of the dungeon bosses, and defeating the final boss.
Right.
In heroic. So 3 achievements.
Is heroic available from the get-go, or do you need to play a whole through?
No.
Gotcha.
Do normal mode first, but I mean, if you haven't done normal mode, I would find it very difficult to... I mean, I didn't really find any like worthwhile guides that really went into depth explaining.
Gotcha.
There are good ones to explain what items are, but not so, I guess, about the game mechanics itself.
Okay.
Like, there were some bosses that I purely went and had to watch other people playing a playthrough to figure out how to defeat.
Cool.
But saying that, it's quite a good game.
How long did it take you?
I want to say the 8 to 10 hour mark.
Oh, okay, so not
maybe a bit more. I'd say 8 to 10, maybe 10 to 12, somewhere around there. But it was quite enjoyable. I wouldn't say highly recommend it, but I mean, if you're a fan of those old kind of like top-down Game Boy Advance games, it's probably in your alley. And then moving on from that, just continuing the slug on Age of Empires 2.
How?
What? I enjoy it.
How do you play games you enjoy? What's wrong with you? You sicken me.
Because it has Gamerscore in it this time around. So, I mean, look, if it didn't have achievements in it, I would not be fazed. But the only problem with this game is I easily lose track of time, and yeah, I'm probably just going to keep on working on the campaign stuff, and then as soon as I can find 3 other players that actually play the game, yeah.
It's in Game Pass, yeah?
It's in Game Pass.
What do you need those players for?
1 achievement, pretty much 4-player human match. I don't remember what the win conditions are. It might even be something like Building a Wonder, which could be done in 5 minutes.
Okay, because I can do it on an alt if need be.
Yeah,
I can be a body.
I mean, I just need to find another 2. If anybody does have it in the Discord, though, just send me a message and we can organise something.
Yeah, like he'll set up his alt activation.
That's my eject word. I'm out. I'm gone. I'm done. All right.
On top of that, just quickly got some easy points from some Radalakers before the show tonight. Just doing Bouncy Bullets, Mucky Boy, and Siberian. I've butchered one of those names.
I think you've butchered 2 out of 3. But that's okay.
I'm sorry. Next time, Bouncy Bullets. Yeah, nah.
I don't think that was the one you butchered, to be honest.
That was the joke. That was the joke, Kirby.
I would hazard a guess it's an amalgamation of Cyber and Barbarian. So Siberian? Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbarian?
But yeah, leaves me with 3,770 points.
It's pretty good, pretty good.
Not
Matt,
bad.
You've been playing.
That's me.
Oh god, you've been playing some. Well, yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll crack into it. So this, as I mentioned last week, I am on cleanup duty. I'm not buying any more games. I'm going to get that completion percentage. I'm trying to get up to 95%, which is a near impossible task because I'm at 92. And it takes me about 400 to 500 achievements to go up a single percentage. Having said that, I figured I'd clean up some DLC, so I popped in Final Fantasy 15 again and jumped into all the DLC because I'd done the original 1,000. And whoo-wee, what a grind. So, I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 15 for the most part. Partly because I basically broke the game by over-leveling. That's always fun. That's like the best thing about RPGs.
Yeah.
But so they added a chapter select because one of the Royal Pack adds in I think 5 or 6 more achievements, and they're for doing things like these weird like off-road races, driving the boat around, looking for a whale. Like it's always like extra stuff they just chucked in later on that like fit like they slot into the story.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well I guess I need to go back and actually do some of this stuff. So they added a chapter select. You used to be able to just go back in time, but now you can use Chapter Select. Chapter Select will take you back to the chapter, but will reset all of your side quests and hunts. So you get to keep your stats and your weapons, but any side quests that you've done up to that point get completely reset. So, I mean, I'd done almost all of them by that point, because there's an achievement for doing like 50. Which is most of them. Including killing some of the hard endgame, like, extra bosses. So those were all back. And then, as another thing, is that they added they've added an achievement for filling out your data log to get it up to 80%, which is by basically picking up collectibles, many of which were in the game originally, but if you picked them up before the update came out, they didn't count, so you had to go back and get them all again. You can get a lot of them by just going through the open world stuff, but there are certain ones in like chapters like there's like one in like chapter 6, quite a few in chapter 13, 12, a couple in chapter 10, a couple in chapter 11. So you have to replay a few chapters. But again, so if there isn't really a good way, because one way or another you're going to have to chapter select unless you're starting the game brand new right now with all the updates added on. So I had to jump around a
missed
lot.
Comrades and you're screwed anyway.
Exactly. So I had to jump around quite a bit. I like the additions. The stuff they put in makes the game a lot better. They added in... One of the things they added in, though, was in Chapter 14 and 15, instead of just going to the final boss, you actually can explore the city of Insomnia, which is pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So instead, it's like instead of like being a linear path. And they also added in an optional super boss called Omega, which is a giant robot that will mess you up. It's basically immune to all regular damage, so the only place that it can take any sort of real damage is its antenna, and if you attack its antenna too much, it goes into a berserk mode and just becomes super powerful and just charges at you and beats you to death. So the guide was like, okay, you need to go grind these dungeons, do all these side quests, again, of course, because I've had them all reset, and get all of these items, get ribbons, get best end-game equipment. Or someone was like, hey, with the update, because they've added the episodes where you can play as the other characters, they allow you to change. They added skills to change to those characters in the main game. So what you do is you get the badge, which from one of the side quests that gives you unlimited SMG ammo for Prompto, which is one of his secondary weapons. Switch to him, stand between a couple of trees, and basically just cheese the boss for an hour and a half.
Wow.
So I did that. I got about halfway through, and then I got like, you're not immune because you could still get hit by lasers and rockets, but he can't physically hit you.
Yeah.
So you just shoot him in the antenna until he goes crazy, and then you just shoot him in the face while he's trying to charge at you and get clips through the get stuck on the geometry, and then just alternate back and forth while dodging every now and then. So I did that for a bit, and then I got knocked out of the arena, and he got all his health back, so I wasn't happy about that. So I had to spend maybe 2 hours doing it. But I got it, 110G achievement.
Didn't the same thing happen to us in Comrades? With one of the final bosses?
Yes, I think so, actually. Yes.
God damn it!
Yeah, so whatever. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go back and regrind all these dungeons and do all these side quests that I have to redo.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I got almost all of the collectibles, and then I had to redo a few dungeons to unlock the secret dungeons that have some more of the collectibles in them. I got to 80%, and then I just jumped out of it. I've gone through and I've done episode Ignis, episode Prompto, and episode Gladios. Got all the normal achievements. So now all that's left is to do the hard ones around the score attacks and beating like the optional hard boss and
and time attacks and whatever else there is.
Yeah, there's just like, I don't know why, because the rest of the game is like, I actually like really enjoyed the DLCs. Like Prompto's one is actually really fun because it turns it into a third-person shooter where you like going around a base shooting, robots and stuff and fighting giant mechs, and there's interesting snow stuff with a bunch of side quests, and like it was a bit clunky, but it was like a really interesting departure from the main game. And then Ignis' stuff was okay. It was Assassin's Creed, just about like you have like a grappling hook that lets you climb up on walls and stuff. And it has some interesting story mode where essentially you can there's an alternate story mode once you finish the game to beat the final boss. At an earlier stage where he puts spoiler part, but he puts the ring that he's not supposed to put on, and it gives him superpowers for a bit while taking his sight away. But there's a part where essentially you can play along with the bad guy, and he takes you to his lair, and then you fight him again, but you essentially sacrifice your entire life to kill him, and it basically changes the course of the entire story. It's a really interesting sort of alternate take that they added in there that they really didn't have to do. And then the Gladius one is just kind of Gilgamesh is in it. That's pretty much it. He's like, yeah, guess what? Sword fight. Sword fight. You suck. Okay, you're pretty cool. I was like, alright, well, and it's got some weird sort of like Dark Souls parry in combat, so I'll probably go back and try and clean up those last achievements, but there were so many of them that I had to get some, and I've just picked up episode Arden, which I know kind of goes against my rule of buying anything, but it's DLC for a game I own, so I need to get the completion.
Yeah, it already counts towards your...
Yeah.
So...
Exactly. Yeah, so it's only weighing me down if I don't pick it up. But, yeah, so I'm going to try and finish up as much of that as I can just to get that number down, and then go back and clean it up when I have time. I also played through Elena Temple. I can't remember the full title. Let's have a look. Yeah, on your recommendation from last week. That's a really cool game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that you can basically break the entire thing by getting the double jump and the unlimited bullets and rhino armor and just walk through and just... I just had fun collecting stuff and...
Yeah, and that's the thing. not that it wasn't necessarily fun before, but it was just so much more fun when you didn't have to stress at all.
Yeah. I just got to walk around and collect stuff and find secrets, and yeah, it was basically like playing a walking simulator. It was great. Loved it. And easy 2,000 points, and I got it done in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
On the never-ending saga of the Windows Phone, I've been playing through Rocket Riot. I just got to the last boss. I need to beat him. I got an achievement for losing to him. I got to beat him, and then there's a bunch of grind about getting 5,000 enemies and destroying 1 million blocks and that sort of stuff. So, nice, easy game. It's kind of a diversion. I play it on my lunch break and just get half an hour in it at a time. So, nice and good. And then we move on to the narrative section of the podcast, where I talk about all the tough decisions that I made in video games. So I finished up the last episode of Life is Strange 2. After the ridiculous ending of the 4th episode, the 5th one was a little bit of a letdown. It also really beats you over the head with the political commentary. And of course, the whole conceit of the game is that you're trying to get to Mexico. So eventually you're going to get to the border and there's going to be some political stuff that goes on. It's kind of unavoidable, right? But man, do they really lay it on thick. I don't know. It's really ham-fisted in a way that only a French company could do. But, overall, I enjoyed the game. The story was interesting. There's a nice... In the last episode, there's a nice little continuity thing from the first bit that's really the only bit of continuity from the first game. Mm-hmm. So I'd be interested to see how that changes a little bit. But Gamerscore's easy. It has... The endings, I got my ending, and I was pretty happy with the ending I got. And then I looked up all the other ones, and they were all a heck of a lot worse. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I made the best of a bad situation. Once you guys finish it, I'll talk to you guys about it because it's really interesting how they're just like, wow, okay, that's a way to end a game, I guess.
Yeah, I think I've just started episode 4, but I gotta wait for my girlfriend to play it. So,
right, of course, yes,
yeah,
the decision maker.
I was gonna say when Nikita moves in, we're gonna do
until she doesn't want to. I think when we played episode 3, she said, I'm going to make all the decisions except for the ones where you do it. I went, what does that mean? What?
Technically correct, yeah.
Yeah. But, what? She's like, I'll tell you when you can.
Oh, okay, perfect.
You know when she didn't tell me? When we were sneaking into an area.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we absolutely...
Did
we
not
were
go well.
Spotted on everything. We didn't slow down anyone chasing us. Mm-hmm. And made a hell of a lot of noise while making sure they didn't slow down while chasing us.
And things didn't end very well, I assume.
No, things did not end well. Look, surprise twist, maybe one of the characters ends up like me.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, annoyingly, that's almost unavoidable. No, sorry, it is unavoidable.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah. Speaking of... strange twists and unavoidable horrific things, I also just finished up The Walking Dead Season 4. It's incredible. So, I when I used to listen to the show before I was on it, I remembered you guys did the review for it, you and Planting, and I skipped through it because it was full of spoilers, and it was like a 20-30 minute review, right? It went on for...
Yes, we reviewed it, yep.
Yeah,
back when we had reviews.
Yes, and it was. So I didn't listen to it, but just going through. Basically, I got the recommendation that you guys said I absolutely should play it, and it's the best one you've played, and totally redeemed the series. Now, I really enjoyed the first season. In hindsight, I've played it so many times that I kind of hate it now. But
anti-Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, kind of. And then the second season was a real big letdown, and the third season was okay. But this season has everything you need. I think, and we were talking about this a bit before the show, the reason I think it works so well is Clementine, in the previous... In Season 1, you played as Lee, and it kind of made sense that people listened to him. In Season 2, you played as Clementine, who was a 9-year-old girl, and people listened to her for some reason, which made no sense whatsoever. And then Season 3, you don't even play as Clem. She's in the party for a bit. and she's a good character, but the main character you play, Javier, is just not that interesting. His arc is kind of boring. But in the fourth one, they get back to it. They're like, oh no, people want to play as Clementine. She's grown up. She's looking after AJ. You get to have this interesting dynamic around her trying to pass on some of the teachings that Lee had, and also put some of the experiences that she's had to try and make sure that he's tough and powerful and can deal with the horrors of the world, but also is not like a massive sociopath who just enjoys killing people and doesn't care about anyone and just manipulates everyone. So it's an interesting balance, which is it's a big thing for people raising kids in general, let alone in a zombie apocalypse. But I think what works best is that the cast of characters stays the same for pretty much the entire season. It's a shorter season, but with more self-contained arcs. I think the problems with the previous ones is that there's so much traveling, which is part of the series, right? Is that you move to new locales and you have to face new challenges. Like the second one is essentially just a big migration, and so is the first one in a lot of ways. But this one essentially is you're in a location, you go out, you deal with problems at that location, you go out to areas surrounding that location, but you always come back to the central point. So there's always a home base where you know who the characters are, you know what the layout is, you build the relationships with these people in a way that makes sense. And things happen between the characters. Characters get into fights, and then they talk to each other, and then later on they feel better about it, or they feel worse, and the relationships feel very organic in a way that kind of makes sense for a tight knit group of people who've. I mean, the way it works essentially is that it's a school for troubled youth, so all the kids there are kind of messed up, and so they all have their own sort of individual problems. And you kind of fit in there in an interesting way because you have been on the road, you've done a lot of messed up stuff, and these kids have a home and they're a bit more normal than you, which is kind of funny because they're supposed to be troubled because they haven't seen a lot of the outside world. But then it turns out like it's a little bit of a lotus eating machine in that it's not quite as nice as it appears on the surface. There's some messed up stuff going on underneath. And some stuff just outside the school that's happening. And then there's also a lot of story stuff, and there's a great scene, the scene with the train at the very end, or towards the end with, that whole flashback that was just fantastic. And then the whole last act, basically the whole last episode is just bang, 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 just like heart wrench, heart wrench, heart wrench. Just like it was, there were quiet moments of good dialogue and stuff, but it just hit you a mile a minute. It was so intense. And I think the fact that it was 4 episodes and they knew they were wrapping it up and they had an arc planned out, and some of your decisions don't really matter all that much, but it's the way you feel playing through that game it's absolutely incredible. Just like and also from a technical perspective, they smashed it out of the park with the way the game works and plays and the improvements that they made to the engine. It's across the board, it's better in every single way. And I think it's the best season they ever did.
Yeah, and a lot of the decisions felt like they mattered.
Yes,
absolutely. You knew, this probably doesn't matter too much. And then later it's like, oh, that did okay. Maybe some of the minor stuff I need to pay a bit more attention to because.
Especially the stuff with AJ. Yeah.
A lot of the stuff did matter, and then you weren't sure whether some of the smaller stuff would or not. So you kind of were kept on your toes with almost every decision.
Yeah. I think it was fantastic.
Crazy to think it was one of those games that almost never was.
Yeah, exactly. I almost didn't get a chance to play it because, I bought the season pass.
I was almost glad it didn't quite finish.
Yeah. They actually had to wrap it up.
This is good. This is the best way to end it. But no. The best way to end it was how they did it.
Yeah. Which I totally called the ending though. But and I was
but it's still good.
I know it was so good. I was like, wow, this is actually some powerful stuff. And then I was like, but hey, wait a minute, why don't they just do that? And then they totally did, and I was like, okay, good. I don't feel like I've been cheated.
See, I totally accepted that wasn't happening. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I accepted it too. I was like, okay, you know what? The story's going to go in that way, sure. But then it went the way I wanted it to, and I was like, okay, good. They know.
They're in
big
touch.
brain time.
Big rock hard brain.
And then to wrap up the narrative story trifecta, I've been playing through The Council, which is a game published by Focus Interactive, known for their Sherlock Holmes detective games and a few other bits and pieces, and it really shows. The game is a little bit janky. It reminds me... Yeah, it does remind me a lot of that Sherlock Holmes stuff. It's a narrative game with RPG elements where you can level up your skills. It also reminds me quite a bit of the Call of Cthulhu game, where it's like you're walking around and you're trying to find clues and solving some minor puzzles, but a lot of it is conversation stuff. A lot of it, I think I'm sure there'll be some minor stealth sections coming up. You know, it wouldn't be a point and click without a puzzle where you have to rotate statues, but it's all about political intrigue, and essentially your mother and your mother are a member of a secret society called the Golden something or other. The Golden Order, I think it is. And your mother goes on a mission to meet a guy on an island, some rich guy on this crazy island, out in the middle of France somewhere, I think it was. And she goes missing. And the guy, the Lord Mortimer, writes to you and says, "Hey, your mother's gone missing like for the last couple of weeks. She's on the island, but we can't find her. Can you come look for her? Because you know her better than anyone else." So you show up there, and you're introduced to a duchess or a countess from England. There's an eminence, he's a papal priest, like a very high rank. I think he's a cardinal. You get introduced to a British lord, and you also get introduced to George Washington himself, who turns out to be the leader of the American version of the Golden Order. You meet Napoleon Bonaparte, and a couple of other, semi-famous historical figures, meeting in this weird place in this Illuminati-esque manner to discuss world politics and the way the world's going to go. And you're kind of there to find your mother and try and figure out, but obviously there's political intrigue all over the place. No one is who they say they are, really. I finished the first chapter and I'm part of the way through chapter 2, and there's been an event that has required some detective work, and I'm basically going through it's become almost like an Agatha Christie style, whodunit sort of thing. And I'm only on chapter 2. I have no idea where this game is going to go, but it looks like it's going to go some very weird places. It's got a lot of that narrative stuff around, choose option A or B, and that locks it out and annoys people. And a lot of the conversation stuff works around knowing what weaknesses are. So you have 10 or 15 skills. I think it's 15 skills. So at the start of the game, you pick whether you're a detective, an occultist, or a diplomat, and that gives you whatever that is gives you a bonus to 5 of the skills, and then you could put points into the other ones to level them up, like an RPG for sort of mechanics to make dice rolls easier or to do skill checks. And then as you talk to people or discover things, you can use skill checks like logic to piece things together, or psychology to try and understand what people are thinking, or manipulation to try and get people to do what you want them to do. But as you talk to people and work with them and discover things about them, you discover aspects that they're weak to and aspects that they're immune to. So, for example, when you first meet George Washington and you have a discussion with him, you realize that he has an immunity to politics. So if you ever try to do a politics check against him, you know that it won't work. Whatever result that you want, he won't give you the answer you want. But you do find someone else who has a weakness to psychology. So I always make sure that when I'm talking to, it's the Duchess for this example, I always make sure to use psychology checks against her, because that usually gives me the result that I'm after. It's actually wildly complex, and there's so much stuff in there. It's pretty amazing, because the game doesn't it's not a AAA level game for, obviously, with the voice acting is a little weird, and the textures, the faces look kind of off. They all look like kind of weird, disgusting mannequins. I don't know. It's very strange. But I would definitely recommend it, because it's got a weird sort of charm to it and a surprising amount of depth. I'm following the walkthrough on TA, and it's you basically have to go line by line, because there is a lot of stuff that you can do in that game around, what choices you make and who you talk to, and even, what you can pick up books around the thing. You can pick up books around the manor, and each day or each time the quest begins, you can read a book to gain a skill. So the more books you have, the more options you have around, I suspect that I'm going to be using this skill quite a bit, so I want to put a bonus to that for this quest, etc., etc. And there's like traits, and it's massive. So I'll definitely report back. I'm going to try and get through it this week and report back on how it ends up through the 5 chapters. But yeah, I was very, very surprised at how good it was. But that also means that I not been scoring a huge amount this week, because those games tend to take a little while. So I'm at 4,560.
All right, sounds interesting. I had dived it, and I knew there was going to be further episodes, but it's unfortunate they're all like 1,000 all up, not 1,000 with some extras. So
yeah, it does take time for sure.
Yeah, so not in the near future. Maybe after I've made my push. Speaking of my push, well, we'll start with. I mentioned earlier I did the DC Universe Online character, so I got that out of the way. I'm really, really disappointed Alex is not on here, so I can talk about, so that I can berate him about this baby game for baby gamers.
The easiest game of all time, right?
No, it's like 3rd on the list. Let's not exaggerate. It's certainly no Avatar, Burning Earth, but no,
it's no Remembered.
Rememoried now that the level skip glitch has been found. It takes like 90 seconds.
Yep.
Jeez. Battle Knights. Alex talked about this last week, and it was so hard, so difficult, and a game can go die in a hole and whatever else. So I'm like, and he made fun of me, saying, "Don't you dare play it," and be like, "Oh, it was super easy." Blah, blah, blah. Well, it was super easy. No, it took me basically start to finish. I'd done what was the equivalent of the tutorial levels, which is the blue realm, and then after that it gets harder, I guess. Took about 3 hours start to finish, not including that one tutorial. It certainly wasn't like a 1 out of 10 difficulty, but with a bit of practice, and because the levels are quite short, you're not it's not like you're doing a 20-minute segment, and if you stuff up, you're thrown back. It's like maybe 5 minutes to do a set of levels, between 5 and 10 minutes, and you've got lives, and you can sort of level up so you have more lives and more health, so that because if a level is broken up into 5 stages, if you die in the 3rd stage, you'll just start back on that stage with one of your lives gone. If all your lives are used, you have to restart. But I don't think it was too terribly difficult. I think maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10 is accurate. The time estimate of I think it's 2 to 4 hours or something, is probably about right. The walkthrough is great. There was maybe 2 levels that not necessarily gave me trouble, but where you had to work on having the timing right. The Black Knights challenge, it was one of those. It involved not double jumping, but falling off the ledge and jumping. So it was just a new type of jump that you hadn't really used before. Like I'd maybe used it in one stage before, so I wasn't quite used to the arc of that jump. So once you got used to it, that level maybe took me 20 tries or so. The whole game wasn't so bad, but yeah, no, pretty reasonable completion. Driving Essentials I played, which is the Learn How to Drive game. Really awful game. The later ones require you to drive for a certain there's 3 miles in specific weather types. So you need to do 3 miles in fog, thunderstorm, rain, snow, and one of them should be at night, so you get that achievement as well. This probably wasn't the most efficient way to do it, but if you start in the commercial area, you will start at a car park, and you can just reverse, and then you can just do a loop of the car park, and it's about 0.2 miles every loop, and I just drove 3 miles in a car park. What was weird was when I was in the snow, it deducted points from me if I went over 25 mile an hour. In a thunderstorm, I'm going 65 down this car park, no care in the world. Whoever's sitting next to me giving me points does not care that I'm screaming at this building that I know isn't actually there, so I can just go through it. Like, just awful. I did get a good clip though. It was one of the lessons. We were coming off the highway or freeway or something, and there's a stop sign. So the car in front of me stops, waits, goes, and as it's going into the lane it's turning into, because it's turning right, and we're in America, so you're not crossing lanes, you're just turning right. There's another car coming straight at it. I'm like, oh my god, the game's going to have a car crash. This is hilarious. There's going to be a proper unscripted car crash in this game about learning how to drive well. No, the car turning just vanished as the other car hit it. Just phased out of existence. Luckily I clipped it, and I'll put that in the podcast channel. But it just... I was like, okay. I guess if I ever get in a car crash, I'll just phase myself out of existence. That's...
Learn to drive or be removed from this plane of existence.
Yeah, basically. There's a... But no, I didn't fall asleep this time. I think I was pretty close, though. I also played 88 Heroes, which is... it's a game... It's essentially there's 88 levels, and each time you start a level or die, you get a new hero. There are 88 heroes. If all of your heroes die, you lose. So I sort of had played it a bit and then hadn't.
Yeah, I vaguely remember you talking about it a few weeks back. Right?
I really enjoy it, but I just don't. I haven't sat down and just hammered it out yet. Because sometimes you get heroes that are just absolutely useless for the level, specifically for the level you're in. If it was in another level, they might do okay, but like, there's one that works like the old Snake phone game, where you go and just turn around and you can speed up, but you can't go through walls, and if you hit your tail, you die. So, if you get that on a reasonably straightforward level, fine. You get it on a level that's a maze, and you have to double back on yourself. It's like, okay, well, this one's useless. So, there's an achievement for finishing the main mode, all 88 levels, with at least 16 heroes left. Apparently that's the hardest one. I think it'll be manageable, just depends on, again, if you get a good run of heroes, you're fine, but yeah, it's a little bit random luck. I only made it into the second area, but I'll have to start over, because that's just how the game works, I think. Pretty sure. Might be able to continue. I finished off Crackdown 3 Wrecking Zone with a boost this weekend. In the boost we had Isrit 103 or 102, it's one of the Isrits. We had Kronos, we had Doughboy, we had BME, we had Toadstyle Venom, and then later in the evening we were joined by Dinoball. And that was a pretty good session. Got my wins done. Basically Kronos had started the game this session and got him everything except 5 wins, because at the end of the night what happened was I loaded up my alt on my Xbox and my main on my computer and set myself as basically the squad leaders for 2 separate squads, and was just searching up matches against myself so I could keep getting the wins for these 2 guys, for Isrit and Kronos. Unfortunately they stopped tracking after about 75%. And I tried all of the tricks that it's mentioned, but it might have just honestly required them to close the game and restart, and I'd sent them to bed at this point, so it didn't happen. So we'll get another session going sometime and get that for them. Hilarious.
Let me know next time you're doing one, because I need to jump on that at some stage.
All right.
Do people still play it, or servers just dead?
There are some randoms. Isra and I started early, just because we were around and we're like, maybe we get some stuff done. I think we interrupted a boosting session and ruined it for them.
Oh,
jeez.
Because, yeah.
They love / hate that.
Because I'm like, man, 3 of my team are standing still doing nothing, and all of your team are running around doing the objective. Huh. This is interesting. They also
Crazy
seem
how
to
that
have
works.
generic Xbox gamer tags. Weird, that. Animal, other word, number. Strange. Whatever. No, not a great game. In no one's eyes is that a good game. It's, yeah.
It's a real show.
Looks terrible. I I was eventually, when I matched up with some randoms and needed to carry on the computer, I'm like, I am so much better than you because I'm on a computer. Wow. Just, like, I could, jump and strafe and stuff and do things that wasn't necessarily as quick on the console. And I still had the auto aim that they put into
okay,
it.
so it's just...
Yeah, it was...
Yeah, not even competition.
Yeah. And then lastly, I did some Minecraft Xbox 360 edition with Kingsman 2625, who is a absolute legend, has tons of worlds, and essentially got me all of Update 54, which is the Elder Guardian, the Tome of Undying, killing the Evoker, the walking on the water with the boots to freeze over the whatever, and
God, I hated that one.
The really tough
so
one,
much.
Which was the shulker box, levitating 50 blocks with the shulker. Had to redo that 3 times because it just didn't pop the first 2 times, but we got it done, and he didn't give up on me, which is great. He also, I entered one of his worlds to get a blaze rod because I didn't want to have to. I looked for one in many worlds of my own and didn't want to have to deal with it, so got into one of his worlds, got a blaze rod, nice and easy. Did right before the show, mined all the cobblestones for the chest full of cobblestone, and I just have the brand new aquatic update to go, which is apparently super easy in the tutorial world, so I'll probably knock that out as soon as we're done here, and I'll be done with Minecraft 360. So that's one that I know will definitely stay completed at least.
Yes, thankfully. That was. I was so happy to hear that they were moving on.
Yeah, just have 3 other versions that will never be completed because they just keep coming undone.
Yep.
But I also played a bunch of stuff that I definitely didn't mention because it was just going to be by name. But I had a busy Saturday. Got myself to 18,200 Gamerscore for the week, and I'm 12.5% of the way to 1 million from my start of the year. Yeah. God, I'm hating it already.
Yeah. Don't you love these self-flagellation challenges that you just put yourself through?
Yeah. I'm like, man, I really don't want to play something. If I don't play anything today, tomorrow I have to get this much. Because I made spreadsheets.
No. That's when you know it's a problem.
Yeah, I made spreadsheets so I can enter how much Gamerscore I got today, what the minimum amount I'll need tomorrow is to stay on track, and what I'm currently at. So, today I had to get... Today, and I haven't done it yet, but I needed to get 922 Gamerscore today. If I get nothing today, for example, tomorrow I'd have to get 927. So, super slow to begin with. But if I decide to not do anything for 3 months, it's like, you need to get 10,000 today. You need to get 6,000 today. So, 900's okay now. As long as I just keep that steadily chipping away at it and doing a bit more, then it'll be fine. It's if I decide to go away for a week or die or something is when I'll struggle.
Yeah, that would really put a damper on it.
Yeah. Okay. So, we'll move into sales and all the other nonsense. Games with gold. Coming up tomorrow, we have the Batman, the Telltale series, who's had its achievements fixed.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to ask that.
So, the achievements now work on the digital version. You don't need to somehow convert this games with gold to a disc version and play it offline. Lego Star Wars 2 on the 360 is out on the 15th. We've had 3 games coming to Game Pass on the console. We have on the 16th we have Tekken 7, which is a super easy completion, and
yep, I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah, it's 6 hours maybe? 8 hours, something like that. It's really not difficult. The only annoying bit is the online, just because being in Australia, you'll connect to someone in the US and you just have to pick a cheese character and just cheese through all the tournament or whatever it is.
Is Eddie Auto still in there? I could just use this spinning tick.
Yeah, he is. There's also another one that I can't remember. There's a different one that I use, but super cheesy as well. These 2 games have dropped in the past week. They came on the 9th. Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet and Frostpunk Console Edition. So both of those are currently in Game Pass. I own Sword Art Online, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're like a super fan of the anime and like really a super fan, because it's. I think I'm still in tutorials. I'm like 5 hours in.
Oh boy!
Like it's one of those.
It's a 150-hour game.
Yeah, 150-hour game with most of that being tutorial.
Great.
Yeah. So I wouldn't recommend it. But if you like the anime and you're really after an RPG that's kind of like a Crackdown style third-person shooter in that it auto-locks, like you don't really target, you just point in the general direction, hold down the lock, and it'll... Okay, there's your target.
Just watch the Bridge series. It's better use of your time.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Bridge is just great.
Mm-hmm. And now Gamerscore games from the sale. Reasonable sale this week. Might be a couple of things I pick up. Another World 20th Anniversary Edition, 70% off, $2.39. Cell Damage HD, 75% off, $2.24. Cyber Complex, 50% off, $4.99. Etherborn, 45% off, $9.34. Weird numbers to use, but whatever. iZombie, 2/3 off, $1.31. Ping Redux, 20% off, $3.99. I think I'm grabbing that. Pixel Gladiator, 40% off, $4.19. This has a 1 to 2 hour estimate on TA, but a patch has come out that... So essentially, before, you could start in the survival mode and it would give you $100,000 to start with, and that would allow you to upgrade quite a bit. A patch has come out to reduce that to 10,000, because I assumed that's what it was meant to be and someone missed a decimal or something. So it is more difficult. I think it's still pretty easy, but it's not like a cakewalk. Like before, I think you could basically fully upgrade yourself and then just do the survival mode and you'd be fully upgraded, so it wasn't really hard, but now it's a little bit of challenge. Subdivision Infinity DX is 30% off, $10.49. Tacoma, 75% off, $4.99. And Alex... What?
Sorry, is that still in Game Pass, Tacoma?
No, I don't think so. I think that was early for pulled. I'll check now. But Alex's favorite game, apparently it is Game Pass. So, well then, yeah, don't buy that. Yeah. It's in Game Pass. Take that $5, buy yourself Game Pass, finish Tacoma, and
I've just saved your $5. There you go. Be happy. No, that's good.
Just send that into our Patreon, thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And Alex's recommendation of the week, Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. He really likes it. He likes FMV games. You know him. 40% off, $7.79. If he was here, he'd recommend, because of course he would. He's a predictable little teddy bear, that man. Alright. Host recommendations. Matt. And this is... I remember last week I said... Yeah, I'm not going to just buy stuff because... this one's really tough to not buy at this discount.
Yeah, so again, going from Alex's favourite game to one of my favourite games from last week, A Plague Tale Innocence. So I spoke about this last week around the sort of third-person stealth, medieval France with some mysticism and some interesting collectible stuff and a really sort of compelling story with that sort of AA budget. I would highly recommend it. It is 60% off at $19.99, so it is still a little bit pricey because it did come out at a full price. Full retail, but it is still, I would still say, a really good deal. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of replayability. It is sort of that 8 to 10 hour, maybe 10 to 12 game. But if you're looking for that sort of narrative, sort of linear story game with a little bit of extra stuff in there, I would definitely recommend it.
I'm gonna hazard a guess this is you, Cameron.
Yeah, sorry. And yet, Shadow Legends, Sacred Lands, 80% off for $2.99. Look, I mean, I enjoyed it. It's probably worth picking up even if you don't get to it straight away. Just chip away from at it a little bit at a time. You might like it.
That's good. I just had a quick look. I think there's... And it's not the easiest game. and it is really repetitive, but I really enjoyed it, and I don't know why I enjoyed it so much. Mitsurugi Kamui Hikai is it's a hack and slash kind of. It's like an arena hack and slash. You're just in a circular ring, and enemies come at you, and you just attack them. It's 60% off, and it's $4.79. It's enjoyable if you go into it knowing that it's just a dumb hack and slash, and you're not like there's not much to it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I've got it sitting in my backlog. Have you like completely finished it, or
no? I have beaten it on easy.
I was going to say, what was it again?
Mitsurugi Kamui Hikai.
Okay, I actually have it.
I've done it.
Did I get that?
I was talking to Sangrias because he did this. He said the same thing to me. I got it, started on, beat it on easy. Went, I'll definitely come back to this, and then never did because
classic.
None of the difficulties stack. So you need to do easy, normal, hard, very hard, and Inferno. And Inferno is like a one-shot you die kind of deal. There is like a cheese method, but then it's just this. That's all you have. It's all you do for the entire game. Is this one combo, and so plenty of people. Well, actually, 2 people on my friends list sitting on 888 TA. Because that's basically the point where everything else is ridiculous grind, and you're like, yeah, maybe not. I do want to go back to it, but I can't spend 15 to 20 hours.
Not till after the push.
Yeah, not till after the push, exactly. I really did enjoy it, and to be honest, I will buy it on Windows 10 once I'm done. Like, I enjoy it that much. It's just terrible, awful, awesome. Okay. Obviously, Matt's not. Cameron, are you looking at buying anything this sale?
I might get a Plague Tale, but then I do have a massive backlog too, and I should really be saving. Mm-hmm. I mean, can I mention the new game?
Sure.
I probably will pick up Dragon Ball Z Kakarot for my girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And then
I
to a
really
lesser
hope
extent
it's
me.
terrible.
She loves Dragon Ball Z. Even if it's terrible, she'll love it.
I counterpicked it in my fantasy draft, so I need it to tank. So
I think you're going to be pretty safe on that one there.
I really hope it's like One Piece World Seeker, where there's a lot of heart, and it's like, oh, I know that character from the anime, but it's just an awful game. As a game, it's awful. And that most anime games tend to be this way. Dragon Ball Z games, they've really leaned heavily into the being awful but recognizable characters.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and I've said this in other Discords, the only 2 good Dragon Ball Z games was Legacy of Goku on the Game Boy Advance, and there's another one, and I can never remember, it's like Saiyan Warrior Fighters, which was a card strategy game on the Game Boy Color.
Alright.
I know, I've somehow just got like, every game.
You went through the story during the story fights, but you'd get a hand of cards, which would be your attacks and defenses, and you'd play them, and that's how.
Oh, I think they did original version of that for like the SNES, like a Japanese one way back in the day.
Yeah, probably. I only played it on my Game Boy Color because I'm a chump. Yeah. But yeah. Friday, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot comes out. Personally, I hope it tanks, but in the general gaming culture, I hope it does pretty well. I think.
Does it? Do we have an achievement list out for it yet?
No, nothing yet. Which is surprising because it's Namco Bandai, and they usually drop it early. I mean, their next Sword Art Online game, there's already had the list leaked like 2 months ago, and it doesn't come out till like October or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We'll see what it looks like.
Yep. Knobs and Discos, the only 2 worth talking about is Child of Light. Child of Light has had a workaround found on the 360 and the One versions that have been cleared with the IM. I checked with them, sent them a message on TA just to double check that these were okay methods to use, because we don't want to tell people that the achievement works and then they all get done in by the investigations team because that's not a valid method. But Essentially, it's as you are sending the you need to be connected to the internet, preferably with a wired connection. And as you are sending the oculi and it's doing the check, you just unplug your console from the network. It drops down, and the check just, I guess, automatically triggers as valid. So you lose the oculi because you've sent it. No one gets it because it doesn't actually send, but it's triggered that it's happened, and so you get the achievement.
Huh.
So on the 360, the achievement will pop offline. When you reconnect your console to the network on the One, the achievement will pop for you then. But yeah, it's a weird workaround, but it works, and it's been cleared, so...
I'm surprised somebody thought of it.
Yeah, it's a Brazilian gamer. Found it on an alt. Of course they did, because they will always be the ones that find weird stuff with broken things.
I mean, they got there's a Brazilian of them, so they get a lot of tries.
No.
Okay. Okay. Milestones.
That was a stretch. Yeah.
Milestones. Activate the milestones.
Where are the milestones?
All right, so for the milestones, we had Hat 90 reached a new milestone of 4,000 achievements won. Fight Club. Is that
Fight Clubs?
Cluxb? Yeah, yeah, but we don't talk about that. Currently
Don't talk about that
on currently on 1,000 achievement win streak. Mad Eye Pad Eye is currently on a 21,500 achievement win streak. Some guy ChinDocta is 250,000 achievements won, and he's also reached 1.3.
Wow. You want to go again?
25,000 achievement won?
You said 250.
Oh, did I? No,
that would be a complete... That would be like a whole bunch of 3-point achievements.
Actually, true. Yeah. Sorry, 25,000 achievements won, and he's also reached 1.3 million true achievement score, which is scrub numbers.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Speaking of scrub numbers,
Neomaster has reached a new milestone of 1,500 games played. Wow, that's pathetic.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. The rookie numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Prue has reached a new milestone of 700,000 gamer score. Retro Chief 1969, wonder when he was born, has reached a new milestone of 100 completed games.
Secular
Cameron
Forever.
looked at me funny. Sorry.
No,
I finished that and you gave me a weird look. I was like, what do you want? Go for it.
Secular Forever is currently on a 19,500 achievement win streak. He has also reached a new milestone of 1.8 million TA score. Hatton 90 has reached a new milestone of TA ratio of 1.7. And Prox is currently on a 17,000 achievement win streak.
Man, I hope that was deliberate. Because you had a little pause.
Good old Prox.
He had a little pause while his brain processed that name. And I'm not sure whether he's like, I'm going with joke, or that's definitely how you say it, I'm going with that.
I think it's just kind of split both ways.
Yeah,
sure.
okay.
Oh, jeez.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, good stuff. That's gonna bring us towards the close of episode 74, and what a way to close it off, really, than Proux. If you want to get in contact with us, you can send us an email, hello@realgamerscore.com. Tweet Cameron on Twitter, @realgamerscore. Join the Discord, discord.io/realgamerscore, and give us money on Patreon, patreon.com/realgamerscore. You can write in questions on any of those platforms and we'll answer them on the next show. And from there, more about helping the show. Subscribe. Wherever you're listening, subscribe. There's a good chance that at least one of you is not subscribed, and we would really like you to. Whether that's on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Kingsman Radio, any of those platforms is great. Leave a review. That's, again, another easy, free way to bump us up and give us more visibility is to leave a review. Telling your friends, retweeting us on Twitter, Subscribe to our YouTube page, Patreon again, all that. Cameron, again, what? What do you want?
Seeing the free character advance card after the contact.
Oh. What? What? Okay,
Did we already mention this?
Yeah, no, we did. I've got it in the...
Yep, we definitely did. It's up the top.
Cool.
What?
Cool.
What are you on about? Okay, Cameron, how can we get in contact with you then? Since you want to talk a lot?
Twitter. I don't know. I'm on console probably half the time now. The other half, yeah, good luck. But
Can we send your daughter a letter and she'll give it to you?
She'll probably yell at you a lot.
Yeah, just the letter
Yeah,
R. Just, here's the letter R. Give it to your dad.
Nah, she'll just go dad, 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 and that's it.
I'm
That's
not
all
her
you're getting
dad.
a response. I mean,
She needs to learn my name because I'm not her dad. Cameron, it's unacceptable.
I'll just let her whack you. That's pretty much going to be it.
Activate.
I'm sure she will.
Okay.
God
All right,
damn
yeah,
it,
if you want to get in contact with me, particularly if you need me to be a witness to some sort of trial based on the content of this podcast, you can find me at Neomaster on True Achievements, on Discord, on Xbox, or in Witness Protection, apparently.
All I'm
Won't
saying
know what his name is there, though.
No,
All
true.
all I'm saying is I don't want him around my kid and any open bodies of water. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Okay. No, fair point. I
Yeah.
will mention all people in witness protection are lollipop men. Just throwing that out there. If you go into witness protection, you have to become a lollipop man. That's
Okay.
the job.
Well,
Yep.
I'm not going to look at the lollipop man the same way ever again.
Your host with the most this week, most lawsuits.
I mean,
probably.
Alex wasn't here, so
Yeah. Your host with the most
Derails.
previous time on the podcast. There we go. That's valid. Has been myself, ChinDocta. You can find me on Twitter, on TrueAchievements.com, on Discord, on the Xbox platform itself, or on Mixer.com, all under the gamer tag of ChinDocta. That's ChinDocta. Unfortunately, none of us can ever change our gamer tags because it would just get way too... If I ever changed it, it would just ruin literally everything, wouldn't it?
yeah, pretty much.
Like this is
I
it.
mean-
That's my gamer tag for life at this point.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
and
glad
if you-
I'm glad I changed mine before I joined the show.
I mean,
Yeah.
yous are giving me enough options to just pick any rubbish name I want.
Yeah, you can be whatever you want, and no one will be surprised. Oh, he's
Be like-
suddenly become this person. Yep, that
Like
makes
No
total
Shade
sense.
Bush. Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
cool.
Illuminated boundary.
If any of you, anyone out there has any ability with Photoshop and can help me join Dog with Hat Gang, Cameron, you made a bad face there. I want to join Dog with Hat Gang, but I'm terrible at Photoshop and I can't do it. I'm technically and Photoshop I'm bad. I tried.
Alright.
It was awful. If someone can help me join Dog with Hat Gang, hit me up, please. I'll compensate you. I'll give you $5 or something for it. You don't know what Dog with Hat Gang is, do you?
No, I got no idea what you're on about.
Oh, I'll show you later. It's alright.
Okay.
It's great.
Gonna blow my world, are you?
Yeah. Well, it's just... it's fantastic. Anyway, yeah, that's been episode 74. Thank you for joining us and listening through this. Hopefully you'll be back next week. Hopefully we'll be back next week. You know, them's the breaks. Sometimes
You
it'd be
never
like
know.
that, though. Alright. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Touches.